Hi everybody, welcome to episode 21 of the Lake Erie North Shore Railroad YouTube channel, where we look at the construction and development of the Lake Erie North Shore Railroad. Now I am really excited, and I really want to get into this next series that we're going to be doing, which is the building of an ethanol plant. And so it's a multi-structure component of the railroad. It's going to add a lot to the railroad. It's going to be really amazing to see this thing go up. So we're going to start today in this episode 21, with the distillation unit. And we learned some really cool stuff in this. I'm really happy that you're taking some time out to watch this one, because we're going to look at how to bend brass to fit certain structures. We're going to talk about different gluing techniques and which glues to use to bond the brass to the plastic. And there's just a lot of good stuff in this episode. So I'm glad you took the time and took the chance to watch this, and I hope you learned something, because I'm really excited about this. And I'm so excited that now I need some railroad soul.
Across the prairies to the sea, they laid the iron for the rails that we ride. They shared their lives, their hearts, and their pride. They had really sorrow.
Okay, so we're ready to start the next big scene, big complex on the railroad. And this is coming from, we're going to build an ethanol plant. Okay, and this is coming from this Best of Industries. Is a model railroader special 2021. And this is a really good reference guide if you want to build industries on your railroad. So I'm just going to flip to the ethanol section here. So you can see they give us this is an actual ethanol plant. And then you can see they identify all of the components that the ethanol plant needs. And you can see there's a distiller there. There's the corn storage. There's the actual ethanol tank storage once it's done. There's, a lot of distilling tanks and piping and stuff like that has to be taken into account. I'm hoping you can see all that close enough. So there's the ethanol tanks. There's the distiller's grain storage area. There's the elevators that store the dried corn. There's the fermentation tanks. There's the actual distillation unit. So you can see how that looks. Get it. Okay. So all those components necessary. And then they go into some detailed pictures of all the other stuff that you need, but then they give you this drawing here, which is a schematic of the components that are necessary. Now, I don't have a space like this. My space is kind of a 4 by 5 foot space, so I'm going to have to change the layout So what I've decided to do is do a kit bash mix kit attempt to get all the components together, and then I'll go lay them out on the track diagram that I have, or sorry, lay it out on the track that I have, and we'll try to make it into a realistic functioning ethanol plant. Now, I know this is kind of backwards, because normally you would have your plan first, and then you would build to the plan. But that's not how I do it. It's not how I'm doing it this time anyway, because the track stuff is already down, and I just decided that I was going to put an ethanol plant there because I like the versatility of an ethanol plant. You have the the tanker cars coming in to take the ethanol away. You have the hoppers coming in to deliver the corn. You have other chemicals that need to be delivered. There's a little bit of high maintenance industrial stuff here. So a lot of activity can be generated on the railroad because of an ethanol plant. And I also like the idea of an ethanol plant. Okay, so taking corn and mixing it in with fuel to make gasoline. Okay, so how are we going to go about this? Well, first of all, we're going to start with this. This is the United Petroleum Refinery, and this is a Walthers kit. But the important thing is, you see it's got one of these distillation stacks here. It's got a lot of stuff in it actually we need. So it's got the distillation unit, okay, and it's got the ethanol storage tanks here that we can use. It's also got, I think, it's got extra industrial looking stuff, but it's got this piping that we're going to be able to use too. So we're going to kit bash this one, okay, and we're going to use the pellet transfer facility. So we're going to use these for, obviously for the piping that we can use, and then the silos that we can use for sort of grain storage or corn storage. And we're going to use this next kit, which is called tanker truck loading rack. So this is basically the area where the ethanol is going to be loaded into the tanker cars. And then we're going to use the propane. These are propane tanks, but when you're doing the ethanol, you need a lot of different chemicals to mix the corn in. So we won't pretend these aren't propane, we'll call them something else. And of course we got the piping that we need, okay? And then I'm gonna use this fuel distributor again for the tanks. A couple little shacks. I don't think I'll use this one. I don't have a spot for it right now, but who knows. And this little shack here is always a good tool shed type thing. And then I'm gonna probably get a couple more kits for the office, sort of like the main office, like some kind of brick building or something for that. And any other stuff that we might have to add as we go. Okay, so this is the start of probably a 3 or 4 part series of building the ethanol plant on the Lake Erie and North Shore Railroad. All right, I'll start by, I always think it's cool just to open the first package while you're here, just so you can see what you get inside one of these things. Okay, ooh, this looks good. This looks good. Oh wow, look at the size of that distilling unit. That is cool. So, wow, we got ladders, and we got little cage things to protect people from falling. Okay, I'm liking this so far. Let's see what else we got in here. Got some yellow stuff. I don't quite know what all that's for yet, but we'll find out. Now here's the exciting piece. Look at this. Oh, there's your distilling tower. And that is going to be I don't know if I can get it all on. That's a big one. That's excellent. And then we got a lot of really cool looking piping type stuff. This is going to be a good kit. It's going to be a good kit to build. I can tell you that. I'm excited about this one. Some more piping. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research on the colors of some of these. Look at that long ladder. Ooh. Yeah, this is going to be good. Okay. There's more in there, but what I'll do is I'll start the build. Once we have some progress made, I'll come back and we'll keep you updated and show you how we're doing, how we're progressing, and any difficulties we've run into, any tips we have to help you build one of your own United Petroleum refineries. So this will be a major centerpiece in the ethanol plant as well as these tanks. So once I have all these built and put over on the layout, then we'll be able to plan how all the piping is going to go and all that kind of stuff. So it's an exciting build, and I hope you stay with me through it all. And yeah, this one's looking pretty good. I'm kind of really excited about building this one. Okay, I'll see you soon. Okay, so we're continuing our build of the ethanol plant, and we have started with the Walthers gas refining model like we showed before. Now the first thing that you will see when you open this model is that we have both plastic and brass. And the reason they have the brass is because a lot of the components have to be curved. So you have to curve this brass and then attach it to the plastic. Okay, and it's a very intricate process. It takes a bit of patience to do this. So I'm just going to give you a few tips about what I've found up until this point. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to have this instruction guide set out so you can refer to it, because each one of these has a different configuration. So you want to have that set out so you can see it, so you can reference it, and you don't put things on wrong or backwards. So these are the bases. So what I do is you'll see there's little numbers etched in here. This is 52 A, B, C, and D. So what I'm going to do is find 52 on here. And I'm not going to do all this with you. I'm just going to do a couple. Here's 52 here. I'm just going to cut these out. And then what you want to do is file these. So any remnant of the tag is gone. And just do it very gently. It doesn't take long to do this part. And if you don't do it, it gives you a major pain in the butt, especially with the brass. And that was 52. So now what I'm going to do with the 52, locate it on my page. And 52 is going to sit like this. Now you have to also be careful because you want to have that sort of grate-like appearance facing upwards. If you turn it over, you'll see there's little lines there, and those have another purpose that I'll show you later. So you want to set this up how it's gonna sit. So that's how that's gonna sit. Now I'm going to take out the long curved piece first, and what I do is I just clip it. They say use a chisel on glass, but this to me seems to work just as well. So I cut this out, and you'll see there's little tags here and here, and you just file those right off. It doesn't take much. There we go. Those are filed off completely. And now what you have to do is you have to bend this to meet this curve. Now, what I found, interestingly enough, is just this little unit that came with the glue actually has the perfect size bend. So once you bend this around, you just bend it around, hold it there, and you'll see that that now is bent. Now you're going to hold that to that piece there. Now this one was a little bit too much bent, but that's okay because we can straighten this out. And that's what I'm saying is things are a little bit pernickety. We just want to get that on there, and that's a pretty good fit there. Now, I'm going to talk to you about this product. Found this at the local hardware shop, the Bunnings, and I started with just your normal super glue, and it was terrible. It just wouldn't hold. Stuff was falling all over the place. So I went and got this, and it has two components. It has this part of the glue, and it has this cleaning preparation activator component. So what you do is you put the activator on the metal, and you put the glue on the plastic, and then boom, you put them together, and it is a pretty great bond. And so you don't have a lot of time to play around, but it's way better than dicking around with this stuff here. Now I will tell you, I learned the hard way, you gotta put on gloves, because when you get this stuff on your fingers, it is horrendous to get off. I've been going for 2 days now trying to get the stuff off from a couple days ago. So you have to have your gloves. I'm just going to put some gloves on here, and I'm going to show you how to do this, hopefully. Now, just while we're getting the gloves on, I got another thing to talk about, which is actually quite disappointing, and that is that once I got into this kit, I realized, wait a minute, there's no tanks with this. Okay, now, as we saw before, on the cover, it shows some beautiful propane tanks or gas tanks, big white ones. And I was all excited about that because I thought they were part of the kit, but they're not. Now, you know, it does say on the front when you read the fine print, you know, the people in the cars and the tanks aren't included. Now, I think that's a little bit deceptive myself, and I think that if they're going to do that, they should put it in big writing across the front, tanks not included. Because, I don't know, I just didn't think that was right. I was excited about that. And then a little disappointed actually when I found out that they weren't there. And it's not even the fact that, you know, I got to go spend more money to get the tanks and all that. It's just the fact that I thought everything was there that I was going to need. I knew the people in the cars and, you know, all that stuff weren't there. But I think the tanks are an essential part of the whole thing. And if they're not going to be with it, then they should have an X through it or something so that you can tell right away that it's not there. Okay, so that's my pet peeve with the Walthers product. I mean, the other parts of the kit, excellent. The other thing is they should give you some kind of warning that there is brass in here that you have to go out and get some kind of a special glue. Okay, because that was another delay in me being able to build this. But having said that, so far it has been fun, and I'm enjoying it a lot, learning a lot doing this. But I just wish, you know, come on guys, don't do deceptive shit. Sorry about the language, but that really did make me irritated. Okay, so I've just coated the side, so you'll notice there's a thick side and a thin side to this. And we're going to do the thick interior side. And then as soon as you're done, you put the top back on this. And you take your plastic piece, the glue, and you're just going to run a nice bead. It doesn't go all the way, this one. Now here's another tip. When you put this down, which is what I found is the best way to do this, that's on there. But if you don't move it around quickly, it will glue to the mat. Okay, and when it glues to the mat, which it has already again, so you got to give it a poke. And when you give it a poke, sometimes everything comes off. But there you go. You can see. How fast that stuff grabs. I always just take this just to poke it down, make sure that it's all down. But that's how fast that's on there, and that's, trust me, that's on there. Okay, so maybe I will finish this particular one off so you can just get an idea of what happens here. 52. Okay, so we're going to have an end piece here, which I'll do first. Okay, so this is going to go right on that end. So this is the end. And I want this side. And I'll just pick this up. Fly a nice speed. Set this down. These ends can be a bit tricky sometimes. And remember, just move it away quickly. It doesn't stick to the table. There you go. That's on. And go for the next piece. Well, this is a little bit trickier. It's a little curved piece. So we'll get this file down. use a little bit of a different thing to curve this. Okay, put the activator on here. We'll put the glue on here. I'm just double checking this one. Just to make sure. Just set this down. It's always, I found, better just to set it down and put it on that way. And you want to make sure you got those little tabs off because they can really create some havoc. Now, see if we can get this last piece on. And the last ones, sometimes the hardest ones. I have to get it exact. Okay, there's our piece done. And we'll just complete some more of these and we'll come back. We've been making some progress here. And we have finished putting all of the little ladder components together. I'll just zoom in so you can have a look here. They're pretty intricate parts. And took about maybe 3 hours to put all these together. Now the cool thing is, they look pretty cool how they are, but I don't think they look that realistic. So I'm thinking about painting them red. I don't know if that's a mistake or not. I think if I go with the red, then that's going to look pretty cool going around the distiller. Okay, so I'm going to think about this, and probably I'm going to do it, I don't know. There's a bunch of other parts that have to be painted at the same time, so I will get back to you once the painting's done. All right, so we're making some progress now on the distillery unit of the ethanol plant. I'll just try to zoom in here. Okay, so this This has been colored like some steel is holding these up. I put these, I painted these little tanks blue just to, because I saw some, I went out and looked at some of the industrial stuff around the place, and they have different colored tanks and stuff. And then this is the decal from the actual kit itself, which I put on there. It came out pretty good. And don't worry about these little blue things here. That's all going to be covered by some dry brushing I'm going to do later. But you can see this is looking pretty good. A little bit of work there because you've got to sand all those pipes down and hook them up. Excellent. So let me just turn this around because you'll see on the other side there's also a tank. There's also a little motor generator here that I painted red. This tank with its decal on it. Now I still have to put on the little valves that go at various places here. And I've just painted those, so I'm just waiting for those to dry. And I'll just swing around, sorry for this. And you can see I did decide to go ahead and paint the little sort of walkways red. Those are the ones that were orange and had the brass on them. I think they came out pretty good. And then I got over here, you'll see all the stuff that I painted. This is the actual cylinder of the distillation unit. These are the little accompanying cylinders, and then these are the little valves I was talking about there. These guys right here, which have to be put on. And then I've got some pipes that I've also painted. They're drying there. All right, so I'll update you when I get some of these put together. All right, a little update on the distillation unit for the ethanol plant. So I've got installed some of the platforms and ladders. I'll just give you a quick overview here, just to show you how we're doing with this. These were fun to put on, I'll tell you that. Now I'll tell you a couple little secrets, which I'm actually kind of embarrassed about, to tell you the truth, but happened. So in the instructions it says don't put this on until these are on, and I didn't see that. I put this on, so I had to cut this and re-glue it on, but it looks okay. Okay, no issues there. It wasn't that big a deal, but I'll just take you through. Now I still have to put a ladder here, okay, and another one here, but this is starting to look pretty good. We got the ground pipes in, and you can see things are coming together nicely. And I think the red was the right color. I think it looks really good. So I'll continue on, and maybe just give this a little spin so you can see how it looks. It's a really, really good model. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. And but I don't wreck it first. Very nice. Very cool. So I'll continue on. And what we have to do now is I'll just put the rest of the ladders on. And then we'll put, there's a little sort of furnace thing that goes there. And I'll have to paint that, have to build that, have to paint that. and then I'll come back when we have it. Okay, there it is, the finished product. I've just set it in the location where the ethanol plant's going to be. Now, this isn't the final location of any of the components yet. I'm just getting an idea of what it's going to look like, and then I'm going to draw a little bit of a plan. I'm going to build a few more of the components of the ethanol complex first, and then I'll draw a plan out and I'll show you how I do that in another video. But I just wanted to show you where we're at on this one so far. And let's see if I can just get in a little bit. You can see I put a bit of rust on this. And I'm going to have to put a bit of weathering, obviously, on these things. But all in all, very pleased with how it came out. Even though I had initial disappointment about not having the fuel tank supplied, I think in the end it's really come up nicely. Just try to get all around so you can have a look. Okay, so look, that'll be about it for this video, but stay tuned as we build this ethanol complex. It's a pretty big project, pretty exciting. I think it's going to add a lot to the layout, and you'll learn a lot maybe about sort of how to plan things and how to make it realistic, and you know, I'll try to give as many tips as I can along the way. Okay, thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next part 2. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, but it's going to be part of the ethanol stuff. Thanks. Bye-bye.